guys, so I wanted to do a part 2 to my video, my opinions on Until Dawn. In that one, I did my main opinions about it based on memory. On this one, I will be doing half and half. I'll be doing one opinion of each character based on memory, and then the other half, I'm going to attempt to do it to where I look up some facts about the characters, and then I go from there. Now I'm gonna start off with the easy one, who the screen was originally on. I'm gonna start off with Jessica. Jessica is easy for me in that it's like her personality is so out there. You already know how she basically is. You start off the game knowing that she likes Mike, another character. You know, you start off knowing who she is. Who she is to all this is she's an ex-best friend of another person in this group named Emily. She is now with a dude named Mike. Now, how all three of those connect? She was best friends with Emily. Emily had a boyfriend named Mike. Emily and Mike broke up. In between this year of the events, Emily and Jessica started being friends. Jessica proceeded to get with Mike. So Jessica has Emily's leftovers, you know? So I'm over here just thinking like, dude, Lord. And this is off of memory, too. The fact that I know this shit, like, because it was easy to understand. It was very easy to understand. When the event had occurred to where they pulled a prank on a woman named Henna, well, girl, I'm going to say girl, they're all teenagers. A girl named Henna. Her and Jessica, her and Emily. Oh my gosh, I'm mixing up the names. How the fuck? Jessica and Emily were friends, goddammit. And then after this year, in between the year time span, they stopped being friends. Okay, I don't know why I'm making this so damn difficult. Now, at the beginning, I was okay with her. I just didn't like how annoying she got when it came to, they had to get a generator turned on, and she was rushing Mike to do it. And she has this kind of personality to where the man does all the things for her because she's a little lady, and a lady needs to be, quote unquote, taken care of and stuff like that. And while I would admit that that's true, she also has to do things for the dude. It has to be mutual. It has to be mutual, right? So she was just acting like a little prissy princess, and it was fucking annoying. I was just like, girl, come on. You rushing him on this generator. You want him to turn on shit like you ain't got limbs and fingers your damn self and a brain. Like, babe. Also, she also acts ditzy, too, which would make sense how she does. I don't think she thinks with common sense much at all. You will see why. This is going to be spoiler-filled, too, by the way. You going to see why. So, they're trying to get to a cabin in Lodge to screw her and Mike guard. They're trying to have sex. Keep in mind, the whole group came back a year after the prank that got two girls killed, Henna and Beth. They are coming back to be there for Josh, right? Meanwhile, most of the group goes their separate ways on this mountain lodge. Like, they basically, her and Mike are going to screw. Another two's going to go back for a bag. You know, it's just a whole bunch of shit. They're all selfish. So many of them are just fucking selfish, especially these two, Jessica and Mike. They're just going to a lodge to have a cabin to have sex. So, like, yeah. So, a little after they got the generator turned on, they are chased by, I think it is the monster that's chasing them rather than the man. The whole time, there's a man who hunts monsters at this mountain lodge. And he sees them. He sees all of the people of the group. He just doesn't say anything because he's too busy hunting the monsters, right? So they are chased, and then they head to the cabin, and she's proceeding to be the most annoying asshole there is. She's just proceeding to be. Now, certain choices can make it easier. Like, you know, she's still an asshole, but, like, not as much if you make certain choices. She trips basically over nothing and drops her phone outside, and there's a choice where Mike has to pick her up or grab the keys to open the door, and if he stands still and does nothing, she will get up, be like, Mike! She'll get up and then grab the keys herself and then open the door, which makes me think like, bitch, you fail, right? I don't know why I say I fall. You fail, right? But you're still able to move fast as fuck. She got those keys fast as fuck after she realized Mike wasn't gonna pick her ass up. I was just like, bitch. So you can do shit. You can do shit. So why you acting like he got to do everything for you? I can't. This may be a long video. I'm sorry. Also, I'm getting to the part where with this picture, the varying degrees of how naked Mike can get her. Child, anyway, they get in. He has to turn on the fire. He finds out a gun. He shows it to her. She doesn't like it because then she says, oh yeah, what is with men and getting basically turned on by guns? What the fuck? She's unimpressed. Then he turns on the fire. He closes the shutters because she asks him to close the shutters. She talks about how she's insecure when they're about to do the do and be like, I try to be confident, but I'm really sensitive. I'm really insecure. I don't actually feel that confident in myself. And then Mike like cheers her up by saying, everybody's insecure. You know, you just handle your insecurities better. You don't show it that much. And she's just like, I know, right? Like, she don't even say thank you. She just says, I know, right? And then she says, oh yeah, can you give me a blanket and then we can do the do? Mike goes to the other room. Her phone flies through that window, I think, after he comes back with the blanket, and then they start attempting to do it. Now, there's differing degrees on how naked she can get, right? If she's completely in her parka, she's not comfortable at all. You probably didn't pick her up when y'all were running away after she fell over nothing, and she's just not comfortable with Mike. This one, you probably did either pick her up or you grabbed the keys first or something like that, or you romanced her a little bit, like you gave off more of a flirty vibe. And this one, you hit the complete jackpot. You were a perfect gentleman for her. Like, you really drove the boat with this one. Like, you know, that's the varying degrees. Now, this is based off of memory again. So, okay, so one of the things that irritated me the most about her was when her phone flew through the window because a monster threw it through the window, and she didn't know it was a monster. She thought it was the other dudes playing a prank, right? That's gonna be a theme throughout this game too. Just everybody, since they're all friends play pranks on each other, I guess, and like all very playful with each other, right? She goes outside. It doesn't matter how naked she is in these ones. She will always go outside and be like, you thought this was funny. Well, ha ha. Well, Michael and I are gonna have sex. That's right. We are gonna fuck. And it's gonna be hot. That's what the fuck she says, right? Outside, it's cold. It is winter. It is a mountain they are on, bro. Just, it doesn't matter if she's in her bra and panties, she will still go outside and say this shit, right? And then she'll close the door, and then the monster will rip through the door and grab her by her edges. They must have grabbed her by her edges and drug her out there, bro. It made sure she bled too. It didn't matter, right? It drags her a very far away as well. And I would describe, that was at the start of the game. Then afterwards, she becomes confused. She doesn't know what the monster is. I think she's the only one that doesn't discover what that monster actually is, which, you know, does make you feel really bad about her. Should I pull up a picture of how she looks afterwards, like a before and after, low-key? I should. I definitely should. Oh, okay, so this is a little bit of how she looks, right? So you see her eye is covered. This is when she has the bra on too. Like, you can barely see it, but there's a little bit of a slash right here. She either finds this jacket or someone gives her this jacket, right? She was dragged, bro. Hold on. This is how her face fully looks, right? So you'll see there's a little bit of seashells by the seashore, gashes on her face because the monster has long claws, and it literally slashed parts of her face. Like, it slashed off some of her skin on her chest as well. It not only drug her, it made sure to make her bleed and made sure to give her injuries because of who the monster is. And I'll let you know as I go through this video. But that's all for Jessica. She turns out from a bratty princess to just a confused and just the most wounded of all the other people, right? It don't matter what ending you get. She will always be the one that is most wounded because she was literally dragged and abused by a fucking monster, right? A literal monster, right? And she never found out what exactly that monster was. You know, she's the most confused one of them all, and she's the most harmed. So, you know, it just makes you feel bad for her no matter how much of a bitch she was earlier on. Okay, so let's do this. Moving on to number 2, we have Mike. This dude is a trooper, but he starts off as a hoe. No, because it's not said that he cheats on the girls he's with. However, I gotta say, he done had some hoish activity. I'm trying to say, like, he has the mindset probably of a hoe, but he hasn't probably done nothing, right? So we're just gonna go all the way back to the beginning of the game. Like, you know, they did a prank. It resulted in the death of 2 sisters, right? Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what this prank was on. Henna is one of the 2 girls that died, right? She liked Mike. Mike had a girlfriend already. She still had so much of a crush on him, though, to where damn near the whole group knew it. So, she was probably very obvious about it, but I think she's a shy person. That's why she probably wasn't upfront being like, oh yeah, I like you. I don't matter if you have a boyfriend or not, and if you have a girlfriend or not, I like the fuck. But yeah, I'm aware that more than 5, I think it's about 5 people out of the group who planned this prank, right? Mike was at the center of it because he's the one that writes down the letter to lead her up to one of the rooms, right? The other friends hide in closets. 2 of them hide in the bed. 2 of them hide in a closet. So it was 5 people. Okay, never mind. 2 of them hide in the bed, Jessica and Emily. 2 of them hide in the closet, Matt and Ashley. And this is based off of memory. And Mike's just standing there in the middle of the room waiting on Henna. Henna comes into the room. She undresses. Like, basically, she's about to take off her shirt twice. And then he's just like, maybe we could start with a little making out and see how it goes from there. He says that shit, right? And so she proceeds to take off her shirt, showing her tatas and stuff like that. And then there's a little bit of a giggle, and she hears them, right? She hears them, and they bust out like, oh yeah, like it's a fucking birthday celebration, right? And then one of her other friends, Sam, who wasn't in on the prank, by the way, I'm gonna talk about her later on. She wasn't in on the prank. She came late as fuck trying to find where Henna was at. And so she comes into the room, right, to find out where Henna is. And they don't say anything cool. Like, Mike and Sam say, oh yeah, it's awkward ass laughing, like, oh yeah, it's just a prank, kind of like that type of shit. And so SpongeBob laughing ass bitches, right? And she runs out into the cold, by the way, to get away from these people, right? This is her house. This is her house. She runs out of her house to go into the cold wilderness because she's that embarrassed, right? That's what the fuck Mike did. That's what Mike did. He embarrassed this bitch so hard, so badly, to where she ran out of her house to get away from him and the rest of the damn group, right? That's why I didn't like him. Like in my other video, I fucking hated Mike, okay? I still don't like this man. This dude, this guy. Fast forward to a year later, he's no longer with the girlfriend he was with that year prior during the prank. He was with Emily. He's no longer with her. He likes Jessica, but somewhere in me, it gives me the sense that at the beginning he really didn't like Jessica. He actually just wanted to screw her. Like, it didn't give me the vibe that he liked her. But he did say he thought she was hot, so he liked her in that type of way, just physical. We first see him after that year scaring his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, and the new boyfriend has the option whether or not to threaten Mike or to just be y'all chill, So yeah, Mike walks in a different direction. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Jessica was waiting for Mike, right? She didn't know he was already there. So when they got there, she didn't know he was already there. She was waiting for him, and he was already there. But he waited to go and scare his ex-girlfriend, or probably anybody, but mainly his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, right? He walked in the other direction. Emily, the girl I'm going to talk to about after him, she went after him to go and talk, and she did not tell her new boyfriend. So it was giving sus behavior on both their parts, Emily and Mike. You're both ain't shit. Right? So anyway, he goes back to where Jessica is. She's at the station waiting for him. She thought he was going to ride in the cable car, but he was already there. He got there before her, I think. They go play around in the snow, throw snowballs at each other. They fall in there. There's an option where she could kiss him or could not, but he was going to totally kiss her, like lean in. He wanted to. Then they get there. They're together. They get into the house, all that, and they just sit by each other. And I would say Emily's part, I'm gonna talk about Emily after this, right? But yeah, he goes to the cabin after Emily and Jessica get into an argument. He goes to the cabin with Jessica. All that occurs, right? Now I'm gonna tell you how he a trooper. He a trooper for real. Okay, so he went from a hoe to a badass hero. Like, I just gotta say this, right? Now, when Jessica was dragged by her edges by the monster, he picked up that gun. He didn't even know if that gun still worked or not, right? He picked up that gun and that lantern and ran after her, right? He ain't had nothing on but a white muscle shirt and some pants. I think he had on boots too. But it's cold as fuck outside. It's snowing. It is actively snowing on this mountain, right? He ran after her. He ain't even know exactly what grabbed her, right? that she was continuously screaming. He's like, Jessica, Jessica, just like in like heavy rain, like that. The father yelling, Sean, Sean, but not as dramatic. But he ran after her in that snow with nothing on, damn near, right? He had to like jump across some rocks and stuff like that, shimmy or jump and stuff like that. He basically falls like many times if you press the wrong things, or if you do press the right things, he still falls basically, and it still basically hurts and stuff like that. He could fall in cold water too. Just he has to do a lot of things. He has to climb. He has to go through all this shit just to find where his girl at, right? And sorry, I'm probably making a lot of noise with this phone, but anyway, he finally gets to her, right? And she's on this, I don't know how to describe it. It's not an elevator. It's like where one of those platforms that come out the ground where they rise up, right? This one is like, it has holes in it, all that. I could pull up the picture if they have it. Hold on. Okay, so this is kind of a blurry image. I'm sorry, but it's basically like, there goes Jessica right there, just laying in like a t-shirt and her jeans. And as you can see, there's a chain. So it's kind of like a platform where you could bring somebody up by getting a lever and just like, turning in a circle, all that to lift somebody up or bring them down, right? So she's on this thing, right? She is on this thing, right? She was brought there to that thing, right? Mike found her. He looks up after she is dropped because someone drops her, right? He looks up and sees that there's a person up there. He can have the option to try to shoot with his gun. However, I think it jams on another part, but this time he just probably can't get a clear eye on it in some parts. And so he climbs up just to find where that person is. And then there's another part where he can shoot at this person, and then the gun jams, right? So when I tell you he ran out of that cabin not knowing whether or not that gun would work, but he still ran after her, like, he a trooper for real. He ain't had to do all that. Like, most people would get so scared they wouldn't, but he probably really did like her more than her looks, for him to do all that for her. So yeah. Hey, I'm back. I had to confirm my suspicion of who the figure was that Mike was shooting at, and it's who I think it was. I would name them as one of the characters on this list, but I low-key don't feel like it, so I'm gonna just describe to you what he is. He's a man who has been hunting these Wendigos for probably like a decade, like, just going off of memory. And he was wearing a trench coat or just a very big winter coat and whatnot. He wore goggles or a face mask. He wore both, I think. And he's been watching these kids all this time, by the way, so he's aware that there are kids that live there. He's aware that Josh, Henna, and Beth live there, right? So yeah, this man, he goes to an old, is it sanatorium? It's an old building where they hold most of the Wendigos at. So yeah, so Mike ends up stumbling upon there. Then he ends up losing his fingers. I think it's his ring finger and pinky he ends up losing because there was a bear trap set there for anybody if they were there, and just stumbled across that place, right? And he gets a machete. He has the option of whether or not to amputate his fingers or to just keep on prying that bear trap open to save his fingers and whatnot. I think he's able to save his fingers, but he ends up losing that machete. So that machete ends up being like broken down to where you can barely use it. So yeah. And Mike also stumbled across some wolves that are there too, and you have the option to either kick a wolf away and then it don't trust you, or you can pet the wolf and it becomes your new best friend. Also in this place, there are Wendigos, right? So many years ago, like working in the mines, there were people that were there. I think an incident happened, from my memory, and then they were stuck down there. There was no food to eat, so they started eating each other, and that's how they became the monsters, the Wendigos. That's how they became them. So they were just stuck there, right? And then this man who's a hunter, he is either trapping them there. They're like, somehow he managed to get them to where he could chain them up and stuff like that. Either that happens or something like that. This is an old place, so it has flammable barrels of oil, right? Something happens and the Wendigos are set free, but Mike makes it out in some cases. I think he can die in that place as well too. He makes it out, right? Now, going fast forwarding to him making it back to the lodge, right? He still doesn't know where Jessica is. He doesn't know where Jessica is. He heads to the house. He finds out that Josh was the one behind what was happening at the house, and I'll explain that in some other characters, right? He gets mad because he thinks that Josh is the one who took Jessica away, or something like, or that Josh was the reason Jessica was basically dragged and stuff like that. So he gets mad, all that. Fast forwarding, Wendigos make it to the lodge, and Mike is a trooper. Oh my gosh, not me mixing up the words. I'm sorry. There's 10 people, okay? That's why I'm mixing it up. Mike is a trooper. Let me just tell you how. Okay, so the Wendigos are in the lodge. There's a light bulb that's exposed. He can silently break the light bulb. See how it works is the Wendigos, they react to sound because they can't really see the way that humans see, right? So they react to sound. You got to be very quiet. He broke the light bulb in a quiet way, exposing the gas to where if I think he sets his lighter on fire, it'll explode the whole place, right? So it's that light bulb and then another one that's near the fireplace that does, like, you let loose a pipe and some gas comes out. If he sets a lighter, the whole thing explodes, right? He has many options to where after he breaks this light bulb, he can set it on fire early, or he waits. Sam is also a trooper. Oh, don't even get me started on Sam. She drove the boat with this one, baby. Both her and Mike. They're very heroic for what they did, right? Now, there's many cases where Mike he can kill everybody. He can die for everyone. Basically be the last person in the house. Or Sam can be the last person in the house to die. All that. Sam could actually end up killing Mike too, you know. But it depends. It falls damn near completely on these two. Sam and Mike. Just the troopers. It made me respect both of these characters, bro. Because he went from just a butthole to a certified badass, and I adore that about this man, dude. He did what he could, bro. He did what he could. Anyway, moving on to Emily. This bitch, bro. I like her too. From my memory, I like her too. Now, she is one of those 5 people who participated in the prank. She was the girlfriend of Mike before, like, during that prank, and then that year later, they had basically already broken up. All that. She was the ex-best friend of Jessica, all that. And now she's the new girlfriend to Matt. Now, I will explain to you how she became one of the most disliked characters of the whole game, right? How she became it, she's such a bitch, okay? To Matt, she basically treats Matt like he's a sissy. And Matt doesn't stand up to her, so maybe she's not too far from the truth. But the issue is, she be talking down to Matt, be having him bring her bags up there. And meanwhile, let me just tell you, when she meets with Mike, because he ends up scaring the fuck out of her and Matt when they were just getting there. When I tell you, after she sees Mike and then he starts going in the other direction, she looks back and then looks at Matt again and says, I think I left one of the bags there, or I think I left one of the items there. She tells Matt this, and Matt has the choice and option whether or not to really damn near argue with her about that or just comply with bringing up the bags by himself, right? She goes back to meet with Mike and talk with him. They hug, all that stuff, right? It's the fact that she didn't want to tell Matt that she was just going to go and talk to Mike, right? She just didn't want to tell him, right? So it just seems suspicious as fuck. It seems like she still has feelings for Mike, even though it probably could be far from the truth, and she just want to reconcile with Mike for a bit because she probably hadn't talked to him during that whole year's events or something like that, just to be on good terms, I guess, with them, right? But I'm starting to think that she did still like Mike in a way, right? Because when she came after that, she came back to the lodge after Jessica and Mike made it back together. She announces herself and she was calling out Jessica, I think Jessica a slut, or calling her out, right? Seeming like a jealous bitter girlfriend, right? A jealous bitter ex-girlfriend. I don't know why I said it like that the first time. Yeah. she does all that. They have an argument. Matt has a choice whether or not to tell Jessica to stop or tell Emily to stop. And if he tells Emily to stop, it'll really be a problem for the rest of the fucking game. She's still unbearable regardless towards Matt, but she will be even more unbearable towards Matt as the game goes on. Josh breaks up the fight by letting Jessica and Mike know that there's a cabin near them and to go outside. And so, yeah, that's how he breaks up the fight, right? Now, Emily goes over to her bag and says she's missing something, right? Now, this is one of the sneaky factors in how Josh is, right? I'm going to go on Josh's character last, I think, because Josh is, he's the mastermind behind most of this shit, right? So, yeah. Emily's saying she's missing one of her bags, even though Matt knows that he brought up both her bags and his own bags to the damn lodge, right? So she makes it to where he has to go outside with her to find where her fucking bag is and some shit like that. I don't know why she brought so much shit there any fucking way. You realistically only need boots. You don't need like more than like 2 bags to go there. One for clothes and one for fucking boots. I can't. Prissy little bitch. I can't. She's smart as hell too. That's what makes it worse. She's intelligent as fuck too. They go all the way down. There's a gate to where it separates from the actual lodge and like go into the cable car area, right? So it's locked. They have to go a different route to another station and all that, find an axe, burst inside of there. She gets the idea that nobody else mentions, right? This is I think it's after finding out what happened with Chris and Ashley. Damn, this is gonna be an hour-long video. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What happens after Chris and Ashley, Emily and Matt has the idea to go to the train station or the other station. I think there's 2 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, while they're in there, after Matt had to use an axe to get into there because it was like locked and stuff like that, she has the idea to go to the radio station and to like send a message since they're basically stuck there, right? So fast forwarding by my memory, because some events I'm probably not like correct chronologically, and they go to there, right? The radio station's all the way up in this, it's not a tree house, I don't know, hold on, let me look it up since I'm on Google. So the picture is blurry, but it's kind of like this part is kind of correct. However, it was much taller than all of this. It was way taller, right? They climbed that area. They get up there, all that, right? So Josh had been manipulating the events prior to this, but this time there is one line that is basically torn by the Wendigo, and so they like the treehouse radio station started tumbling, right? It fell, right? Somehow Emily and Matt survived this because it fell so hard. It fell into the mines. Like, I don't know how the hell it did that, but it fell into the mines, right? She survived somehow. And so did he, right? But how it happened was they were in the mines. She was hanging off of some wood. She had the platform like that, right? Matt was above her. He was trying to grab her hand, right? You can have the option of whether or not you say something to argue with her. During all this, right, they're in a dangerous situation. She's still being a fucking bitch, right? She's still being a little bitch about it, being like, oh, just get me out of here. And this, did that, third. I'm just like, this bitch. She can't be a nice person to save her soul. But there is an option where Matt can argue with her. Now, he's still trying to help her, by the way. All this. And then once it's like about to fall, I think he can jump off the platform like regardless, and then she ends up falling anyway. It doesn't matter what happened. I think she ends up falling anyway, but she doesn't die from this somehow. Her leg gets caught on a cable wire or something like that, or just a wire in general that brought up the treehouse shit, and then she's just hanging there, upside down, and she survives. I think there's some options to where she can hang and like fall and die and stuff like that, so she's in the mines, right? She's in a different part of the mines, right? I think so, in a deeper part, to where that's why she didn't encounter Jessica. Matt encounters Jessica, and I'm gonna get on Matt later, probably after Emily. But yeah, after this, she basically encounters a Wendigo. I'm kind of skipping some events. She encounters the man and the Wendigo at the same time, but I think after the Wendigo, she basically goes off on a chase, right? If you hit the right buttons, she can run and then like grab shit from the wall and then drop it so that it makes the Wendigo like slow down and stuff like that. There's some barrels right now. She does this number. If you press the right button, she runs and she's like using her left and right hand to like move down some barrels, and then she turns around, and I think either she has a lighter or something, and then she like can jump backwards and hold on to this like cable car wire thing, and just she's like gliding down this whole thing after escaping a Wendigo. She single-handedly escapes a Wendigo if you press the right button, bro, or if you do the right choices. She escapes it, right? Now, during this whole altercation, she gets slashed by it, or she gets either bitten or slashed by it. I think that's how it works in this game. So she slides down there. I think she falls before she can like land on her feet. She actually ends up falling a bit, so it still hurts. And then she makes it back to the lodge, right? When they discover her, she has a cut either from a bite of a Wendigo or from a slash from the Wendigo, right? So they don't know how it works. This is before they meet the hunter man, right? Before most of the others meet the hunter man, right? Sorry, I'm speaking so long. Oh my gosh. They don't know, right? So Mike has the option of whether or not he can shoot her and kill her before she can quote unquote turn, right? I think this is after they read in the book what can happen to her. I think a choice can happen to her. They're just like, no, she has to eat another person to turn into that. You know, it doesn't matter if this matters if she's slashed, then she can turn. But if she was just slashed, and didn't eat people, then she can't turn. Like someone says that, I forgot which character does, but that choice can happen. But if you didn't read upon it, Mike could kill her and all that stuff. You have the choice whether or not to shoot her or not, but he still holds the gun to her. This affects Emily in a huge way. It's the fact that Mike even held a gun to her to begin with, to where she just hates this dude. It doesn't affect the choices later on in the game. It will affect like the after credits, to where she will basically be like, oh yeah, the asshole who hold up a gun to my head. Like she'll pretty much damn near hate this man. But yes, that's how I know she a trooper. Now Ashley was one of the people that was saying she will turn into a Wendigo, right? So Emily will hate this bitch, right? To the point to where the Wendigos get into the house, to the lodge, right? And so they're all running away from them, and Emily will push Ashley to the side into the wall just to run away and do that because of what Ashley had said and done. Like, you know, Emily will straight up push this bitch. Like, damn, like she pushed the fuck out of her just to get out the way of the Wendigos. I was just like, damn, okay. And then all that. Then that. I'm not factoring in the credit scenes because it's been a while since I've seen them, so I don't know exactly what each of them said. But anyways. Oh yeah, why I was saying she's so intelligent is because I don't think any other character really does what she did. She quite literally used her surroundings to get away from this monster, this creature she's never seen before. She literally can topple shit down. She can see that those barrels are flammable and use a lighter, I think she ends up doing that. You know, she can get a flare gun and shoot it at the Wendigo if you pick the choice to keep the flare gun or not. She is very resourceful in her shit. She's a for real survivor in that. So that's why I said she was very intelligent, in that she's not only book smart, but she's intelligent in means of survival as well. But anyway, we're moving on to another cat. Matt. Now when I tell you, this has... Actually, no, I'm not gonna... Well, I am gonna mention it, right? There's 10 friends, and 2 of them are the only minorities in this game, right? One of them's gonna be a bitch, and the other one's gonna be kind of... he's gonna be treated like a sissy. So, like, not sissy. She's gonna treat him like he's a sissy when he's not. He's pretty good. He's a good man. Even though he participated in the prank as well, which makes him a butthole and an ass, as well. But they all made a stupid mistake. Now his thing is he's a nice dude. He's a jock, and the thing is, he has choices of whether or not to be a pushover. But regardless, he will damn near always be a pushover when it comes to Emily specifically. Now he has choices of whether or not to like threaten Mike to back off from his girl because Emily's his girl now. All that shit, you know. However, in the game, when it comes to certain decisions, he will, even if he tries to go and say, like, go against her with decisions, she will always be like, what? Why are you saying this? Like, no, we're going with my plan, and he'll still go with her plan. so it doesn't actually even matter at the end of the day, which sucks ass. Like, you know, it's like, girl, you say he's hot when he's threatening your ex-boyfriend, but the moment he actually shows he has a brain of his own, you don't like that shit and you want to argue with him. Like, it was stupid. It was very dumb. But yes, that's his thing, is he really tries to do everything he can to help Emily and be there for her. However, there's at a moment where Emily does some like sussy type shit, like you going over there to meet with Mike and not even say anything. You could just say, hey, I just want to catch up a bit, but she didn't feel like good enough in her relationship to probably tell Matt that she was gonna go and talk to Mike. So what the fuck ever. It was just But yes. And so he has the choice whether or not to argue with her. This is after the I think it's not a lighthouse, it's a treehouse radio station falls into the mines, and she's basically hanging there on some certain pieces of wood that's keeping her on her feet and almost away from falling and stuff like that. And he's just on a higher platform where he could either argue with her and then try to help her, or just not and just try to like do all that. But she's still a bitch, so I understand why he would go off on her, but still, it's not the right time. She'll even say like, hey, this is not the right time to try to be asking me certain shit. So yeah, now my brain's a little fuzzy. He does meet with Jessica because Jessica actually turns out to be okay. What she does to stay surviving is that I think she keeps quiet because she notices that they don't notice her unless she makes a noise. So yeah, he finds her. She's extremely banged up. She can't run. Like, that's how bad it is. She literally physically cannot run away from these things. So, you know, there's moments to where him and Jessica, they have to not make noise. He also doesn't know what monster it is too. He's kind of confused on what monster it is. And so, yeah, I don't know if he made it to the lodge with Jessica or not. I forgot. But yes, if you do survive, they end up making it to the cave's like edge, and like there's a wall near them, and they can shimmy to hiding away from the monster, and it gets very close to them. You have to stay still and all that. And if they do make it or not, I think Jessica almost falls and stuff, and he helps her. They look up and see the Winter Lodge in view of from where they're at, so they can kind of find a way to get back to there, I think, from my memory and all that stuff. But it really just shows how caring he is. I don't want to mention the credits, but a little bit of the credits is, I think he mentions he tries to help her or not. IDK, I don't know. But that's his whole character. It's kind of short. Like, you know, I don't have too much of an opinion on him, if I'm gonna just be frank with you. This is off of memory. Some things I probably can't remember him, like remember some parts of him and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, moving on. I don't know what other character to do. Okay. Moving on to Ashley. This is also someone I don't have too much of an opinion on. Matt and Ashley, the ones who hid in the closet during when the prank was starting. The ones, like, I think Matt was the only one recording. That's why, like, I don't really give a fuck about him too much. But she was giggling too, like it was funny. It was just stupid, dumbasses. They were also part of the prank. Both Matt and Ashley, the two people. There was 5 people part of the prank and all that. She likes Chris, another character that I'm gonna do after her. She likes Chris, dude with glasses who is blonde headed. I don't know if y'all know what Until Dawn is, but if I'm just gonna say that. She kind of is the one who gets really like scared, like panicky type of scare. She's that one in the group. She jokes around with Chris, and she like, I think she's friends with everybody. She does end up doing something later on to make Emily hate her even more. Now, after Chris does a little prank on Sam and Josh, they do participate in playing with a board to contact the deceased. I don't want to say it in this one. All that, and then something happens to her. Ashley is apologizing profusely because she thinks that she's talking to Henna because they're presuming her and Beth dead and all that. And then they get a hint to go into the library and find out a clue as to what that thing was talking about. They find the clue. It's a picture of Beth and Henna, and then on the back it's like a warning. It is a threat towards both Henna and Beth, and they think it's like the one who had tried to kill them all along, who was trying to kill Henna and Beth. There was no one trying to kill Henna and Beth, by the way. This was all set up by Josh. I'm saying this now, this is all spoilers anyway. So yeah, so Ashley and Chris go into a room after the door was opened, and nobody opened the door. Someone opened the door, but they didn't know who. They didn't see anybody, right? So someone ends up screaming, and then Ashley goes through a door, and she's pulled in this door, right? So Chris don't know what's happening, and Chris ends up trying to pry open the door. He beats on it with his shoulder 3 times, and then he comes in. He sees Ashley's on the ground, like she's knocked out basically, and then the mystery mask man ends up knocking Chris out. That was me describing some parts. Just in conclusion to Ashley, it was Josh the mask man. He was basically punched her dead in her face to knock her ass out. Strong ass man, bro. He drags Ashley away, and she's basically tied up and playing a game of Saw, to where there's a saw spinning in the middle. I know that's not exactly the game. It's inspired by it, but it's a saw spinning in the middle, and Chris has to choose between Ashley or Josh. If Chris chooses Josh, Ashley will not like that. She'll start disliking Chris, right? And then there's another one where another game occurs after Chris and Ashley meet with Emily and Matt and tells them that Josh basically died, right? There's another game, right, where they go into a room and there's a gun at the table. Chris and Ashley are at this table. Chris has to choose whether or not to shoot Ashley or himself, right? If he shoots Ashley, the gun will jam and Ashley will fucking hate Chris, okay? She will hate him. There is a moment later on in the game where Chris is running away from the Wendigo and he's outside and Ashley's right at the door, right? She looks him dead in his eye and will not open that door. And because she remembers from that other event, right? So that's how bad Ashley can be. Now, after meeting not the masked man, but the hunter, I think I'm having events mixed up a little bit just from memory. This game is from 2015, okay? So it's been years. So Ashley can accuse Emily of being a Wendigo or turning into one, right? So she could basically end up being the reason that Emily dies, because Mike could either shoot Emily or not. Either way, Mike's still gonna hold the gun to Emily's head. Right? So if Emily doesn't die, Emily will slap the hell out of Ashley. She will slap Ashley into awakeness, goddammit. I swear. And then Emily will also push Ashley out the way once they're running out of the way, right? So after that, Ashley can either die or whatnot from all this and that. It's just how, my opinion of Ashley, she's so wimpy. Like I can't. The things she do, I can't. Her participating in that prank all those years ago, just being fine with doing stupid shit. Her over here, like, exposing Emily for that cut, and then basically being the reason Emily dies in some ways, right? It's just real bad how she is in those cases. It's like, damn, bitch. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up and not do shit. Like, Jesus, man. You end up really getting yourself in trouble with this shit, man. But I don't have too much of an opinion on her. That's just really it, how I feel about her. She just sucks. She blows. Anyway, side note, the reason why I'm not moving the screen as much when I'm looking up some of these characters is because they can have really suggestive fan art of each of these characters, bro. And y'all don't need to see all that. Like, y'all don't need to see all that. So anyway, I'm going to keep it a little bit stationary. Anyway, okay, we moved on to Chris. Chris is the one who has a crush on Ashley. His literal description will be that he has a crush on Ashley, right? Now, he still has a personality. How we meet him is Sam meets Chris after a year of all that. Oh, yeah, by the way, during the prank that happened a year before all these events occurred, Chris was drunk with Josh. He had no part in this prank. I don't even think he would participate in this prank if he were awake. Then again, some events he does later on in the game makes me think otherwise. He just doesn't seem the type to do that. It's too mean, I guess, for him. Like, he's not the type to do that. Then again, Matt was the type to do that, and Matt's, like, kind of nice. So I don't really fucking know what I'm talking about. I don't really know what I'm saying, okay? He was drunk. He had no involvement. And so what happens to Chris is just so fucking awful. Like, what Josh does to Chris. It's like, damn, Chris, you don't have a good friend with you, bro. And it's like, damn, Josh, like, do you hate Chris? Like, what's going on, right? So anyways, meets with Sam after the year, like the prank, after a whole year of that prank happening. He can shoot a gun at the beginning of the game, showing that is really good with a gun, right? Now, some choices, he can shoot a crow, and then Sam will hate that because it's like, why are you killing a living animal when they didn't do anything? This will give him bad luck and give Sam bad luck as well, too. It's a little bit of bad luck. Oh yeah, before going to the shooting range, Sam looks at his phone, and I'm assuming that he gets a text from Ashley, and Sam kind of teases him on liking Ashley and all that stuff like that. They go up the cable car together, and Chris will tell Sam something kind of important, like, butterfly effect, all that. He tells Sam of how he met Josh, and I think it's so sweet. Like, it's just really sweet. I'm assuming that she's never heard this one before, because why is he just telling her this if he already told her? She would have already said, like, hey, I already know how y'all met, but she probably never heard it before. And I was just like, that's so sweet. And then he said, if a girl's bra wasn't snapped and I wasn't moved to the back, I would have probably never met Josh. Boom, butterfly effect. And I was just like, that's nice that he was recalling that whole thing. It really shows he's actually really here for his best friend. Now, I saw this thing, right? But like I told y'all, his literal description is that he has a crush on Ashley, right? So he says he's protective and humorous and methodical, and you will see how he's humorous as the game goes on and stuff like that. He does like to tell some jokes, and I can't. He a bit funny. He a little bit funny, I guess. Okay, coming back from a little bit of a break, that him and Sam meet with Jessica. Now, if Sam goes through his bag and looks at his phone, he will also go through Jessica's phone. I mean, no, not phone. Letter. She has a letter in her hand towards Mike. He will look straight up at this letter just because he was inspired, quote unquote, by Sam. Since she looked through his shit, he'll look at Jessica's shit. And I'm just like, he on that type of shit. I can't even. What the fuck, Chris? But anyways, they get up to the lodge, all that. And after the argument between Emily and Jessica, Sam will try to run her bath, and then her and Josh will go down there to like try to work the hot water pump and stuff like that. And then they'll hear a noise, and somebody will be running at them in a dark cloak, all that. It'll be Chris. Chris basically scares the fuck out of them, running after them at top speed. What may I tell you? Basically, this dude can run. Like, ain't no damn way. He wears a mask and then this dark cloak and all that, and he's just like, hey. I'm just like, this dude. Ain't no way you doing all this, rising up their blood pressure and shit. Ain't no way. Now, the reason why he went down there is because Josh had mentioned them playing a game on a board, and so he went down there to get the board, but then he saw some like stuff down there. There's a lot of movie production stuff down there, movie making stuff down there, so there's a lot of props, and so he found those two things. He gets back up there with the board. Ashley makes a joke about him not saying any words at all, and so he basically says a whole sentence with no words, so he's just mouthing everything. I was just like, he's so stupid. I can't. Low-key trying not to laugh. I was just like, okay. We see how he's humorous in those regards and whatnot. They play the game with the boards, trying to like talk to the deceased and all that. Ashley's apologizing. He's apologizing too, but I didn't like that he was apologizing with her. I was just like, why are you apologizing? You had nothing to do with this whole thing. Like, bro, do you not remember the fact that you do not remember anything that occurred because you were literally not awake for it? Because you were literally drunk, so drunk to where Beth couldn't shake either you nor Josh awake? Like, what? Bro, what? Oh yeah, also with this board game they're playing, Josh will think that Ashley is playing a prank on him. I think he'll think that both Ashley and Chris are playing a prank on him, and so they're both just like, no, this is not a prank, this is this. And then Chris will even ask Ashley, he'll be like, yeah, that if this was a prank, it was very bad. And she was just like, this was not a prank. So it's because of the fact that she was in that prank that 1 year ago, to where they'll think that she's joking with them and all that. They go to the library. He discovers the letter of threatening Henna and Beth. And then they'll hear a noise. Ashley will hear somebody screaming. I think it'll be Josh. She'll hear Josh screaming, and then she's pulled into the room. He will go to that door, and it's locked, and he will bang on that with his shoulder like 3 times, go in there. He falls. Then he gets back up, and then he sees Ashley's on the ground, tries to go near her, and then this person with the mask on punches his daylights out. Like, he knocked Chris the fuck out. I was just like, damn, okay. And then finding out who that guy is, I was just like, dang, he got a right hook like that? Man, like, he knocked out a grown man. Like, well, I don't know how old Chris is. I think Chris is about 19, not really grown, young adult. Still, like, damn. I guess he was hitting his temple or something, but he got knocked the fuck out. But anyways, he was knocked out for so long, in fact, that the masked individual had planned out everything. He lit up some balloons, to where there could be arrows so that Sam could find out where she was going. He lit up candles. Like, damn, he lit up a bunch of candles. This is a big ass winter ski lodge, okay? Chris was knocked out for a long fucking time. Like damn, okay. He must have really got hit in his temple or something. After he wakes up, I think he gets directions to go to where Ashley and Josh are at, and then he goes to this room. He hears a voice over the intercom, and it's like inspired by Saw the movie and stuff like that. All that, wanting to play a game. He has to choose whether or not he will pick Ashley to survive, because there's a saw spinning in the middle and it's gonna land on either of them if he uses the lever to choose like Ashley or Josh. Now keep in mind, this is a rigged game. It will always end up on Josh no matter who you choose. What you should do is just never choose Ashley, right? However, I don't think you should choose Josh either. I mean, you lose either way. With Josh, you'll lose anyway. You know, it's kind of that whole thing. But with Ashley, you'll definitely lose if you pick Ashley. So don't pick Ashley if you ever play this game. So he pulls the lever either which way. It always ends up on Josh. And then he has to witness his friend seemingly like cut in half, sawed in half, basically. So there's a lot of blood on Ashley's jacket. He takes her down. I think I said Emily instead of Ashley. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the names. But anyway, he takes her down. She meets with, they both meet with Emily and Matt. And so they tell them what happened. And then Chris, like, points in the direction of, like, I think a station, radio station, all that. So they're basically terrified, right? My memory kind of clocks out a bit on some parts of where between what happened then and what happens before they have to go to this other room and Chris has to choose whether or not to shoot Ashley or himself. But anyway, I'm gonna just go to that part where he has to choose. They go to this room. It's another game that they're having to play where the intercom, like, voice over the intercom. He has to choose between shooting himself or shooting Ashley. There's a gun on the table, all that. I think they are locked, like they are cuffed to the table, all this. If he chooses to shoot at Ashley, the gun will jam and she will hate him. If he chooses to shoot himself, it'll be worrying. If he chooses to do nothing, I think she'll still hate him, but just not to a degree to where she'll basically not open the door for him, all that. This is when they discover who the masked man is. And when I tell you, it broke my heart, right? None of them could believe it was Josh, and it was so upsetting that it was Josh. I was just like, this is crazy. Why did you do this to Chris specifically? He did the worst thing to Chris and Sam. I think he did worse stuff to them than he did to any other people that were actually involved in the prank, because he does do a fair amount of stuff to Ashley, but he doesn't do it to Matt. Matt was the one recording, right? He didn't punch Matt in the fucking face and knock his ass out. No, like, he does so much to Chris and Ashley. It's insane to me. Like, I can't. But anyway, all that happened. They discover who the masked man is. Chris and Mike make it their duty to lock up Josh so that he doesn't do any more stupid shit. Josh doesn't know that Jessica was injured. He had no intention of actually harming any of them in like any for real way to like kill them. He had no intention of doing that. So yeah, after that they also meet the hunter. The hunter just comes in and then all that, and then they talk with him. Hunter describes what's going on, all that. Then the hunter, I think he chooses Chris to go, or Chris can have the option to go there and grab a gun and basically be taught by the hunter. Also, something happens, and it will always happen to where the hunter dies, basically. And so Chris can either die with him, or he can choose to like shoot at the thing and run away as well. And so when he gets back to the house, if you choose to shoot Ashley or go against Ashley, she will not open that door for you, and she will hate you. But if not, she will let you in. But yes, that is the thing. So yeah, Chris really steps up. You know, like he goes out with the hunter, like. He already knows how to shoot if you do it rightly at the beginning, where he has that shooting range and stuff like that at that shooting range. So yeah, he knows what to do. I feel as though after the credits and after all this, he's probably gonna be the most, will he be the most stable out of everybody? Like, he'll still need therapy. Everybody will need therapy after this, but he'll probably be the one who will write books, I guess, about like the hunter and all that stuff like that. You know, that's my opinion of Chris is, I like Chris. You know, he's pretty cool. I hate how much shit he got from Josh, when in actuality he was really there for Josh. Like, I think he was the one that was mostly there for Josh. It's rivaling between him and Sam, who were the ones mostly there for Josh. But yeah, I like how his whole attitude was with this. I like how he was still apologetic even though he had no hand in the prank and stuff like that. Like, he's a pretty cool dude. I either want a hamburger or a candy apple with nuts. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I want to slice you up and chop you up like a beast. But anyway, I don't know why I said that. I love living single. Anyway, moving on to Beth. I'm gonna do Henna and Beth first before, I don't know why I say Henna. Beth and Henna, either or. I'm gonna do them before I do Sam and Josh. So anyway, we're going on to Beth. My opinion of Beth is not as much as I would like to admit. We don't really see her more often. I do like how attentive she was. This is all like during the prank, because a year later she's not even there much anymore. Like, she's really the only one who's actually deceased in canon. Like, she'll be deceased either or, which way that's her destiny. Just like the hunter's destiny is to die, it's same for her. She's the one that notices someone's outside. She'll be like, oh yeah, Dad said it'll just be us tonight. And so it's just, she's at the kitchen, in the kitchen. She goes to see about Josh and Chris, doesn't notice that they're like sleepy, and then she goes up to them and sees the bottle and be like, dang, big bro, like, you really can put it down. And so all of that. She goes around the kitchen, then she finds the note that Mike writes for Hannah to go and do all that. Oh, no, Sam finds that note, not Beth. Beth ends up being afraid of who's outside, all that, and then it cuts after a point to the other characters, then it cuts back to her. And so she sees someone outside, and so she'll really go to the other people and all that. And then she puts on her coat. She's smart. She puts on her coat, and so she's just like, whoa, what was that? The other dudes were just like, oh yeah, it's just a prank. And then she'd be like, what did you do? And then someone would be like, it's just a prank, Han. That's Emily that says that. And so she says, you jerks. And so she's the only one that runs after her sister, the one who runs out into the freezing fucking cold with no jacket on, all that, because she's embarrassed. She goes after her sister. Her sister runs so far into the woods. When I tell you, I don't think Henna was looking, or I think Henna's athletic or something, because baby, she ran far the fuck away. I was in a short time span. I was just like, damn, she gone. But anyway, Beth runs, she finds her, and then they hear a noise, all that, and then they end up bucking it, like haul-assing away from that noise and all that. Henna falls somehow. I can't even with these characters. Then she drops her phone. I think it was either Beth or Henna who drops their phone. They all reach the ledge and stuff like that. Henna falls back. I just can't. Not on purpose, just on accident. And so they fall back, and somehow Beth grabs onto the ledge. Beth can have the option to either let go of Henna or to let go of both of them, right? But the masked figure who's like following them, it was the hunter dude. He was actually reaching out his hand to like grab them and pull them up, but he ain't want to say shit, because I don't know why he didn't say a fucking thing. He just had his mask on. He could have pulled it off and been like, hey, everything okay? Like, no, just I can't. But yeah, either way, if you let go of Henna or if you let go of both of them, either way, she falls anyway. Beth falls anyway. I hate that they have the choice of whether or not to drop Henna or to let go of both of them. I do hate that. It kind of just like, show, I guess it gives Beth a little bit more of like a character to show like, oh, she's selfish. She's willing to let her sister go and save herself rather than let go of both of them, I guess. Or just to pull up her sister and all that. I don't know. But they both fall. Her spine will be cracked in half because she straight up falls on a rock that's kind of like in a triangle pattern to where it will still crack her back. She's the only one that dies from this. She instantly dies because she falls on that. Henna doesn't fall on a rock. They both pass out, but it seems like they both die. That's the only one that actually passes away though. And that's it. My opinion of her. I wish we got more. I do like how attentive she was. I do like her reaction, though. I would have loved for her to curse them the fuck out before she left. Oh, they deserved it. I wanted her to punch somebody dead in the face. That's what I wanted to. It really showed that they're not truly friends to any of them. They're not friends to Henna. They're not friends to Beth. And they aren't friends to Josh. Only ones who truly are friends towards those three siblings are Chris and Sam. They're the only ones who actually care about them. So, yeah. Now, I'm not going to hold you. I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 to this part 2 because this is reaching the hour-long mark. And I don't know if my phone is going to let me do past an hour long. I hope it doesn't time me out. But yeah, next we're moving on to Henna. Now, there is a lot on Henna. This whole prank is centered around her and Mike. They do this prank to make fun of her. First of all, I just got to say, none of those people are her friends. The only ones who are truly her friends, I got to say, is Sam, I guess, and Chris to an extent. But the only one who really is her friend is Sam. No one else is her friend in that group because they all play this fucked up prank. They know that she has a crush on Mike to the point to where they think it's a cool thing to just basically play on her insecurity, play on her crush, play on all that, No, now the note said to her, Mike was just like, oh yeah, you look good in that shirt, it would look even better if you weren't wearing it. He says that shit. That's why she was actually declothing herself, and so she exposes herself to Mike. Right now she is kind of wrong because she knows Mike has a girlfriend. The girlfriend's literally in the group with them, so she knows that Mike has a girlfriend, but she was still willing to take off her shirt because she liked Mike so much. And yet he plays on that, they all do. They prey on the fact that she really liked this dude and was willing to do all this shit, They prey on her naivete. They prey on her willingness to do all that, just all that stuff like that. So pretty. Now, I don't know if she's just fast as fuck or what, because she ran off into the woods with no jacket, bro. I don't think she was wearing a jacket at all. Wait, actually, one of these pictures show. Yeah, she wasn't wearing a jacket at all. This jacket right here, it was given to her because Beth was wearing it. So Beth's really the one. Beth's a whole trooper for that. She really does care for her sister. She's the only one that ran out into the fucking cold for her sister. Sam didn't even ran out after her, bro. It's just all that. So fast forwarding to what I told you about, what happened with Beth and Sam, not Sam, Beth and Henna. Oh my gosh, me mixing up the words again. I'm sorry. So fast forwarding to that. Henna is the one that lives out of the two. She buries Beth, all that. I think she writes some letter and stuff down there as well. She is cold and hungry, but she's still awake, still alive right there. A year passes. She's been in those mines for a year. Hungry, cold, all that, right? You think, how did she survive, right? Oh, she survived. She survived, but how she survived is it's sad. It's very sad. She basically digs up Beth and eats her, and turns into the Wendigo. So yeah, yeah. This is what she looks like. It's ugly. It's ugly. Now, one thing I'll mention is that Henna has a butterfly tattoo on her right arm, and that's important for Josh, and in all of her pictures it's shown her tattoo with this butterfly and all this shit. Dang, I didn't notice how many times it showed her tattoo every time it had a picture of her until I looked back at it, think back at it. But that's important because even after she's turned into the monster, it's still on her skin. It's still there on her arm. That's one of the ways you can recognize that is Henna. So yeah. Now, while she's this monster, I'll mention that even in this monster form, I think she still has some of her thoughts, because when they were out, Mike and Jessica were out to that cabin lodge, she got noticeably pissed off, and I think she was the one that dragged Jessica out of the cabin lodge. Because why did she drag out Jessica when Mike was the one that, I guess it's because Jessica was the one closest to the door, I guess, but I think it's because Henna still has her memories of when she liked Mike, and that's why I think she wasn't as trying to kill him as was. I think she still has some of her memories, and I think later on when Josh goes and see her, if Josh recognizes Henna, she will have her memory of Josh, and I think she'll keep him alive. She'll just let him live and all that stuff. So it makes you think damn, Henna's really built different. So yeah. Now, my opinion of Henna, I think she gets more feral as the night goes on and whatnot. But anyways, my opinion of her, I think she, some of the other girls in the group, have low self-esteem. But I think she has really low self-esteem and stuff like that. I think she's the shy one of the group, like Ashley a bit, but even worse. And it was just how she was. She was a little too impulsive with some of her decisions. Why are you undressing for a dude you know is taken? Like, why are you doing this towards Mike when all he wants to do is just screw you? He doesn't actually really like you. If he liked you, he'd probably break up with his girlfriend to get with you. Like, what? But all that, child. Anyways, she is a victim in all this, though. Even if she made that decision and whatnot, she's a victim of this. She never thought that they would do that shit, you know? And even if it did, it is mainly on Mike, because you got a whole girlfriend. Why are you okay with letting this girl show you her breast? Why are you okay with that? Why didn't you stop her? Why didn't you have the moral compass to think like, oh, yeah, stop right there. Stop right there. I'm sorry. This was a whole sick thing. They wanted to play a prank on you, all that shit. Why didn't Mike do that? He didn't do that at all. Why didn't he? So she is very much a victim in all this. But yeah, I wish better for her and Beth. They need new friends. They need better friends. Sam was a really good friend to both of them, even though Sam didn't run after her and all that stuff. I understand why, but still, yeah, they just need better people in their life. If they were to live through all this, they need better people in their life. But yeah, little Miss Pretty. Yes, Miss Pretty thing. Anyway, let's go on to Sam. Oof, this is a long ass video. Anyway, I may have a lot of breaks going through Sam. Sam a trooper, just like Mike, but even better. I love Sam. I'm gonna just tell you my opinion before I even get on with her and stuff like that. I love Sam. Sam gives me the main character of this whole group. It's giving main character, Itis in a way. Like, she's so capable. She's athletic. She goes rock climbing, I think, and all that stuff like that. She's the one who was very against this prank. She was literally warning Henna, like calling out for Henna. She was literally telling the other people, like, no, this is not a good idea. She was very against this prank. She's level-headed, all that stuff. She don't think like them. She's straightforward on what she wants to do. Like, damn, for majority of the first part of the game, she wants to just take a bath. Like, bro, she's just trying to chill out and take a hot ass, lava ass bath and stuff like that. She ain't even trying to do all this other shit. So, she's still there for Josh though. I think in between that year, the prank and the rest of the events of the game, she talks a little bit with Josh, because even though I said I'm not going to mention the end credits, she does say that she thought she had a connection with him because they talked a little bit and they were chill. She didn't know that Josh was going to do what he did. So after that full 1 year of the pranks, following the pranks events, we see her. I think she's the first person we see. She's riding along the bus to go to the place. She goes there. The gate's locked. So we see her rock climbing capabilities, but her climbing on the side and going over, getting past the gate and all that stuff like that. She goes to the cable cars, all that. Sees that Chris is there. Goes through Chris's bag, all that. Like I mentioned earlier and stuff like that. She very much loves life. Like, she pets a squirrel, even though I know that some people out there just like, nah, fuck that squirrel, man, kill it with fire. But anyway, she pets a squirrel. She even has acorns in her skirt. She's wearing a skirt too, by the way. She just pulls acorns like out of her ass and to hand it to this squirrel and stuff like that. So yeah. And Chris has the option whether or not to shoot a crow at the shooting range later on, and she will be very heavily against it. If you do shoot that crow, she will very much be uncomfortable. It's just how Sam is. Like, she's just that type of gal. Fast forwarding when they get through the cable cars to the lodge, to the arguing with Emily and Jessica, between those and stuff like that. She'll say, hey, I'm going up to go take my bath, and then it'll fast forward certain events, and then she tries to get the hot water for her bath, and then she mentions to Josh does a little joke. She's just like, I'm about to get into the bath, after Josh calls to see what's wrong, and he was just like, do you need help with that? And she was like, hard. So he had a little joke about her getting to the bath. This is gonna be sick later on, by the way. She goes with Josh into the basement where the boiler room at, and then she helps Josh do this stuff. There's a moment where it's like a quick thing. It goes by fast. He tries to high five her. If you miss it, it's understandable. His face will look disappointed as hell, though. It's like, like, oh, stank face and shit. My bad, got something to eat. Anyway, so after her getting the tub situation done, all that, after she basically runs away from Chris because he played that little prank, she spends majority of the first part of the game in her bath, enjoying her hot lava bath and stuff like that. The whole time she's being watched by the masked figure. I think he's been watching her through the cameras, because later on she finds out that she's been recorded. I think he watched her go undress and go in the bath. And he literally was in the room in the corner watching her as she had music in her ears and bathing, right? And the way he got her attention was he opened the door and closed it. She noticed that the candles had went out. And so she gets her towel. I don't think she notices that her bag of clothes are not in there, or she just forgets that she probably had a bag of clothes in this bathroom and all that. She goes out, notices that there's candles and balloons with like arrows showing her where to go, and she thinks that the others are playing like a really bad and long prank on her. And then she goes to the movie room area and sees that someone recorded her taking a goddamn bath. And so it's the man that's over the intercom that was over the intercom for Chris and Ashley. She gets really afraid because the man starts counting down, and then before he even reaches like 0 or 1, he reaches 7, I think, and then comes out and then starts like stalking towards her. She can have the option to throw a vase or run away. She basically is being chased by this man, right? Now, keep in mind, she has no towel. Like, no, she has no clothes on. She has no socks. She has no shoes. She don't have no bra on, no panties, no on, like anything. She's just in a towel. So she's running away barefooted from this masked crazy ass man in nothing but a towel, and it never falls. So I'm just like, bro, that's crazy. That's unrealistic. Unrealistic as fuck. Good thing this is a game, because ain't no way. All that, from memory, if she does get caught by the man, he gasses her, and then she's like wakes up in another area, and I think she meets up with Mike and all that. If she isn't caught by the man, I think she ends up in either the mines or just some parts of the house. I think she finds her bag of clothes or somebody else's bag of clothes or something like that, puts them on, all that. She ends up meeting Mike in the mines, actually, and they head up back to the lodge and discover that Josh was the one behind this whole thing. He's a sicko, but he's been having problems this whole year and stuff like that. So all this happens, and then I think Emily heads back, and then they're all confronted by the hunter about what happened, right? I think them being confronted by the hunter is after they lock up Josh in the thing. So I think Sam and is it Mike or Chris? Sam and Chris make it their mission to go after Josh because they left him in the shed, and I think he breaks away and starts wandering off because he has schizophrenia, so he doesn't know what's real and what's not anymore. He keeps seeing shit, and so Sam has to find him in, I think, the basement or the mines or whatnot. So yeah, fast forwarding to all that, the monsters end up being in a lodge, and her and Mike are very important for this last part, right? So basically, Sam has to distract all of the monsters after the monsters end up fighting each other. Henna's one of them. She's the Wendigo. She ends up fighting the others because they're the only ones that are moving, so they don't like movement. They get very violent towards movement and sound. So Sam says, hey, and it distracts them, and it makes it to where all the other people, if everyone survives, they end up leaving because she's basically putting herself out there to be sort of bait. So after Mike breaks the light bulb and whatnot, it's basically her mission to reach to the door where the light switch is at. So she calls towards the monster. She has to stay still as it screams in her ear. She can see all the details. She has to stay as still as possible. She runs to a pillar, hides behind there. She runs to a wall, hides behind there. And the monster's like so close to her and trying to see if there's any movement. And it's repeatedly screaming in her ear, scaring the fuck out of her, all that. She has to stay still as possible. Now, she can decide whether or not Mike dies or if everybody else in the thing dies but her by running to the light too quickly and stuff like that. And how she is able to escape, like the Wendigo reaches out to her, and then another one like stops her, like stops the Wendigo and runs and basically headbutts it away or like crashes into it to keep her from dying while she's turning out the light. But yes, in one way, she basically is so important, she ends up saving everyone. Except for the second person I'm gonna talk about. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you, like, I really do like Sam. She's basically the main character of this whole thing, damn near. You know, she's really a trooper. She is athletic as hell. She's the heroine of this whole thing, if I'm gonna be honest with you. It comes down to her. It's her importance to all this, you know? That's why I think they chose to not have her die until like the very last part. Because in other parts, all she can do is just get gassed. You know, she can't really die in the other parts. You know. So anyway, we're gonna move on to Josh. Oh Lord. Whew, okay, I think this is like 45 minutes of me taking a break from the whole thing before I talk about Josh's. I think Josh's is probably going to be the longest one. I think Jessica's was the longest of me describing what was happening to her because it ties into so many other characters' events. But Josh's one, bro, first off, he's the oldest brother from my memory and memory alone, not from like Wikipedia. I'm gonna look up Wikipedia on all these characters afterwards and then show y'all. But anyways, from memory alone, I think he's like 20 years old. I think it was 19 when all that occurred. But he's the oldest brother of Henna and Beth. I think he's the oldest one of the group as well. Since he is the oldest, I think that the Winter Lodge was gonna go to him. You know, since he knows how to work so many things in the house, he knows how to turn on the hot water. He knows there's a lot of props in his house. He basically knows every area of his home. Now, from my memory, I think his parents are like movie producers or directors or whatnot. That's why they have all those props, and that's probably why he knows how to use all of them. He probably is used to like doing movies as well himself, or he's probably been taught to do all those as well. Best friends with Chris, all that. My opinion, I liked him back then, mainly because one, he's played by Rami Malek, and I love Rami Malek. In that I've seen Rami Malek in movies and he looks good to me. After some years, I know in my in my opinion of Until Dawn Part 1, I did not like this man at all because of his choice of who he wanted to punish and how much punishment he dealt to the characters, to certain characters. Now the issue is, I think the overall villain of this whole thing, I don't think there is one. If I'm gonna be completely incorrect, honest with you, if we're gonna really go back to who could be the villain of it, is to the ones who trapped down those miners, like the ones who, the other Wendigos and stuff like that, because that was the whole reason they were trapped down there. They didn't have nothing to eat, so they ate each other, which is bad. But yeah, but I don't think there's a true villain in this. I want to say it's his doctor, Dr. Hill, because Josh has schizophrenia. He also has other mental issues as well, and I can't really think about what they are as well now. He also has not dealt with his grief yet. Of course, it's only been a year. This is going to take a while to actually deal with your grief, but I don't think he gave himself time to grieve. He's just been plotting his revenge plan, his revenge prank this whole time, and he's been going to the doctor, all that. Now, Dr. Hill is the narrator of this whole thing. It's someone you meet in between the chapters. Dr. Hill's an awful person. Bro, I don't like his doctor at all. I think he's a psychiatrist. His psychiatrist at all. I do not like that man. He's creepy. He's low-key gaslighting. No. Am I using that word right? That's not the word to describe it. No, there are some times where it's just like you are doing some certain tests and stuff like that. Then I don't know where the dude gonna bang against his desk like one time and then being like, oh, did I startle you? Like, why did you do that? What the fuck? What if Josh was actually one of those people who like loud noises or like surprising noises makes him jump or makes him act and do things? Like, dude, why'd you do that? But anyways, I don't know. His doctor just has a creepy vibe to him. And the thing is, there was also I remember there was a theory that he was given the wrong treatment. Like, he was going there for depression and for his schizophrenia and all that, but he wasn't given the right amount of something. I think it was either dopamine or serotonin. He's lacking something to take care of his depression. So that's what I remember from in between the years of 2015 to now, to where they talked about Josh. But yeah, this dude here, he done did a lot. He is behind the pranking of the people after a year or so, the events and everything. He's not behind the Wendigo attack, but he's behind a lot of things. He's the one in the mask that watched Sam take a bath, probably watched her undress too into the bath, and watched her standing physically in there as she was bathing and listening to music. He's the one that punched Chris and Ashley in the face and then made them play that sick game of him choosing between Ashley and Josh. Like, that's what he made Chris do. And then making Chris choose between Ashley and himself. He's the one that locked up that gate to where Mac and Emily couldn't leave to go and find the bag for Emily, or go into the radio station, or leave to the cable cars. I think he was also planning something for Mike and Jessica, but I forgot. Also, he has access to all the cameras upon that Winter's Lodge as well too. He just has access to a lot of shit. I don't even think the parents even come there anymore. If I'm gonna be frank with you, they're gone so oftenly, and you could tell they're rich. They're probably never there. It's just Hannah, Beth, and Josh, and now it's really just Josh. He spent a whole year probably by himself because his parents are always so busy. It's just, it just sucks, man. And then here's how they describe Josh, Hannah and Beth's brother. He's complex, he's thoughtful, and he's loving. Now the thing about this shit is that he was these things until a whole year later. Now complex is correct, but that loving thing, I feel like he was really loving when his sisters were still alive, and then when they weren't, I don't think he saw them as his friends anymore. Like, you know, that group, I can understand because 5 of them were literally involved in a prank, but he was asleep, so he doesn't actually know which ones were involved or not. Even if, I don't think that Sam came out and said I wasn't involved in a prank. I don't think Chris came out and said they were involved in a prank, but he should know Chris was not involved in a prank. But even that's questionable because Josh was asleep and so was Chris. So Josh doesn't really know if Chris woke up before him and then participated in that prank too. He don't really know. So he doesn't exactly probably know what happened or who was in the prank and who was not. So, you know, now in between the year, like that one full year, he did talk to, I think Sam reached out, and Sam thought she had a connection with him in the end credits. She thought that he was really there for her and she was there for him. Like, you know, that's the thing. But I'm guessing it was all false. He didn't see these people as his friends anymore. How could you see them as your friends if they're the ones that are the reason that your family's dead? Like, dude, like, you know, like, I understand, you know, now divulging into all of it and what he sees in some part, like he has some hallucinations where he in a way blames himself. He sees a lot of just a lot of crazy shit. He even sees his sisters like as corpses and stuff like that, talking to him, blaming him, you know, telling him how bad of a brother he is and how terrible he is, just all that. Now, in between the chapters, you do talk to Dr. Hill. You don't know it's Josh because all you see is a person in the chair. All you see is their hat. It's like the camera's positioned on the top of the chair and the hat of the person. You don't actually see whether or not it's Josh or not. So, yeah. But you're going through all these things and you don't notice that it is Josh because who else could it be, right? But when you're playing it, you don't know. So, it's like that. His reaction to when they found out that it was him, it was so bad. None of them were laughing. I think he was thinking they should laugh. And he actually had a plausible reason as to why he played a prank on them is because, well, one, you see how detrimental the prank can be, right? Like, you know, to somebody's mental health, to somebody's emotions. Like, you know, this really fucked with their emotions. That was the whole thing. He wanted to revenge them. He never wanted to do them any serious harm, like them actually bleeding or them being so injured to where they, like, you know, they die. So it's like, you know, he never actually meant for that to occur. So when he found out Jessica was in trouble, he was legitimately confused. Like, that's the most confused of a face he has shown in the game. He legit was just like, I didn't, what? Like, you know, he was like, what? He was shocked, he was confused, and that let you know, like, he did not know that Jessica would be injured in it. Which really leads you to believe that, like, his family didn't let him know that there were other people not only on that lodge, but there were, like, other things on that lodge, which makes me think, like, either his parents didn't know or they just didn't want the kids to know, because they probably told the kids, like, hey, don't venture off into the wilderness, stay in the lodge. However, as you can see, that didn't turn out to happen. And I think he knows mainly his house area, but he doesn't actually know outside of it. So, you know, yeah, I don't know why I paused during that, my bad. So, yeah. And in this chart, I think it's just a random one, depending on the actions in the game. His highest relationship is with Chris. Chris is his literal best friend, bro. And what sucks is how much damage he does to Chris. Chris's mental state. He does more damage, I want to say, physically to Sam in physical. Like, yeah, he does more damage physically to her. He made her run barefoot across this dirty ass house where most of it's made of wood. She could have splinters in her feet and stuff like that. She legit had to be on the ground in a towel, making sure the towel didn't fall, which, baby girl, if I were me or anything, just run bare ass naked, bitch. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. No, just kidding. But, well, I'm not kidding about the bare ass part. I can't. Fuck out of here. But yeah. But the amount of mental games he played with Chris it made me feel sick, if I'm be honest with you. I was just like, why are you doing this mainly to him? Like, I guess you want your best friend to understand the most, I guess, of how you're feeling. But even then, it's like that felt more like rewarding to Mike. Like Mike should have went through the shit that Chris did, making him choose between like Jess and Emily, just doing all that shit. That's the type of thing I see him do to Mike, not Chris. That's why I was really like uncomfortable or mad in my first opinion. Not actually like uncomfortable or legitimately mad. I'm not meaning like serious in terms of all that and stuff like that. Like, I just mean like sort of describing it, not seriously, you know what I mean? But that's why I was just like, yeah, that's weird. Like, you're putting all this on Chris and Sam. Like, what? Anyway, let me continue on because I'm saying the same shit. I'm sorry. Now, his friends don't actually know that he has mental illness or mental issues and whatnot. They just think this is a sick joke, which sucks because they did the same shit a year ago. You did a sick joke too, the fuck? You over here messing with somebody's mental state and stuff like that. If Henna had lived, she'd have hella trust issues. She'd probably like punch each and every one of them in the face the moment she sees them and stuff like that. She probably want to do some real damage to y'all niggas if like y'all actually did survive this. Sorry, I'm just speaking off the top of my head and stuff like that. My bad. Little work. I'm reading this chart. It says that his funniness is pretty high, and I don't believe that. I don't know if I believe that. The lowest one on his chart is literally brave. Yeah. And then romantic. Why is that even a thing? You're not romantic, sir. I'm sorry. You're not. I don't even know why that's a thing. We should actually, after I finish this Josh, we're gonna look at all of theirs, because all of theirs seems like right here. I think they're like most of them is right here. Who the fuck? Ooh, okay, never mind. I don't know who that is at the very bottom. Like, I don't know. But anyways. So yeah, after they discover what he did, they lock him in the shed. I think both Chris and Mike were the ones to do it, because Matt was still with Jess in the mines. And something happens to where he's broken free, and then he wanders off into this like open part of like the mine or the caves or whatnot. And he's like imagining things, he's hallucinating, all that stuff like that. Then he encounters Henna, and if you recognize her through her tattoo, Henna won't kill him. But if he doesn't recognize Henna off the bat, she'll hold both her hands in like his head in between her hands and smush his head. But then in between, when she's about to kill him, he notices her tattoo, and in his head he's just like, oh my gosh, it's Henna, and then she kills him. So yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta tell you, when he goes into the lodge and stuff like that, after the rest of the survivors are picked up, they don't go back for Josh at all. I don't think they know he's still alive or not. Sam was the one to warn them to go to the lodge, to the mines, and it ultimately ended up in the policeman's death, if I'm gonna be honest with you. But when it's Emily as a sole survivor, she warns them against going back down there, which is kind of smart in a way. So yeah, because down there is Josh. In an alternate universe, he is stuck. It shows that, not alternate universe, alternate ending, it shows him down there. He was hungry. He's eating, I think, the hunter's head, or somebody else's head. And so he's in the midst of turning into the monster. So yeah, there's even some fan art right here. Yep. It's sad. It sucks. Honestly, he's the one that has to grieve his sisters, and even in between the thing of grieving or not, he can't fully grieve, His parents are barely there. He goes to a psychiatrist who makes him crazier than he already is. He's not even crazy, actually, if I'm gonna be honest with you. He's actually a victim in all this, That's what sucks ass. He's actually a victim in all this. He's the one that lost more stuff than ever, rather than anybody else, I gotta say, him and Jess are the biggest victims they're the biggest victims, you know. Third contender will have to be Sam as well, because you see the end credits of the game. Her eyes, she's not there anymore. Her sanity she's losing her sanity. I don't think she's there in plane of existence in her head anymore, which is understandable. She had to literally go face to face with those monsters. She's not okay. So yeah. Okay, since I'm a fangirl, we're gonna be seeing some of the fan art. Yeah, I have a big ass smile on my face right now. I'm sorry. Okay, I've been shipping these two since it came out. But anyways, okay, wait. Ooh, someone just said you look pretty tonight. Okay, if y'all looking at the screen, there's some good. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. The bottom was showing too much. Anyway, got any good selfies on that thing? Ooh, selfies will be great. Oh my gosh, these pictures are out of pocket. I can't do this no more. Hold on. No more fan fiction for today. YouTube, you don't need to see all that. Anyways. But yes, here is Rami Malek. We love, we adore. He was, what movies were he on? I remember him being Night of the Museum. I love that he was on Night of the Museum. I can't. But anyways, this part of the video, again, I'll probably have to do a part 2. Not editing this much at all. So yeah, we'll probably have to do a part 2 for it if my camera clocks out. But anyway, we're on the Wikipedia part of the characters. I'm gonna attempt to go in order if I'm gonna remember what order I was in. Anyway, yes. So Jessica was actually 17. I was wrong in my other video. I think I said she was 16 the year prior, and then she turned 17. If I had said that, I don't remember. She's 17, and then she 18 a year afterwards. All that. Hair blonde, eyes gray, complexion white. Okay. Her death could be either in chapter 4, which I'm thinking is when she first was down there in the mines, or chapter 10. I think that is when they're all in the lodge. I think. I don't know. Cause the jaw ripped off. It's always gonna be jaw ripped off for her. Who needs grades when you got all the natural advantages you can handle? That was in her. I think that was in her argument with Emily. Yeah, she's one of the 8 main protagonists. So yeah, I wasn't wrong when I said there was 10 characters, because first of all, there technically is. There's actually a lot more characters, because they're all important to the overall grand scheme of things. Even Beth, and even though she has the least involvement in it, she was the one that was eaten by Henna to get turned into a monster, so she's still important. They're all important. Important. During the prologue, Jessica has short hair. Yeah, she does. She has little tiny pigtails. I forgot to describe how they looked. I kind of didn't want to. It says Jessica survived her attack. She will be covered in bruises and deep cuts all over her body. Yes. She would need to wear a miner's coat. Yep. She finds a coat from somewhere and boots found in the mine. Yep. Alright, her personality. Her actress is describing her personality. This may be a long ass video. It's about to be 2 hours long. This game is cool though. I really like this game. That's why I'm doing a whole video about it. I really like this game. Okay. Jessica she has a whole lot of personality. She's definitely the sort of mean girl character that, you know, at school she knows she's pretty. She knows that boys like her, and she's going to use it to her advantage. Yeah, pretty much. She's confident, trusting, and irreverent. I forgot what that means. Hold on. Damn, so I found out what that word means because I've been seeing it a lot. I forgot what it meant. It literally just means disrespectful as fuck. Like, you know, finding little to no respect in other people, or just not really taking things seriously. So, and that describes it damn near perfectly. Yeah, because that moment when she ran out into the damn wilderness thinking everything was a fucking prank and stuff like that, which is understandable because her phone literally flew through the window. It's like, damn, y'all seem like y'all doing too much, right? And then There was one moment where she thought Josh was flirting with her, and then Mike makes a comment being like, "Oh yeah, what, you want to invite him for a threesome?" And she was just like, "What, really?" And he was just like, "What? No, what the fuck?" I'm like, I was just like, I don't think that's where her reverence comes in, but no, still, it was weird as hell. But yeah, she's provocative. Yep, she do like to show off her goods and all that, but she's not really confident. Once provoked, she becomes defensive and fierce. She seems to care deeply for animals, being shocked and upset after killing a bird and seeing the mauled deer. Yeah, very open about her sexuality, flaunting the fact that she'll have sex with Mike, her boyfriend. Oh my gosh. Depending on the player's choice, Jessica may reveal to Mike that she uses her seductive skills as a shield from her insecurities. So she doesn't always reveal that. Okay. She doesn't always get vulnerable with him in all those playthroughs. I thought that was just part of it. Okay. Okay, so I can't get this damn... Oh, there it goes. I thought I couldn't get this ad out the way. Just... Oh my gosh. Year ago, she's arguing with Sam about the prank on Henna. Yeah, her and Emily were very into this prank on Henna. I don't know why. She questions the cruelty of the prank Sam does, which Jessica replies that she deserves it and notes that she is only orchestrating. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, so Jessica thinks that Henna deserves it because Henna likes Mike and Mike is with Emily and Emily is Jessica's best friend. So she thinks, oh yeah, this girl wants to get all up in my best friend's man and stuff like that. She wants to get all up on him and stuff like that, and we don't like that shit here. Meanwhile, Jessica's over here crushing on Mike. Two-faced bitch. Two-faced booty hole. But anyway. Oh yeah, okay, so prank to protect her friend Emily, implying Henna had been making moves on Mike. Was she right? Yeah, just a little bit. Not like, I don't think Henna was actively making moves on Mike. Then again, Mike did know. I feel like Mike knew that she liked him, which is weird because it makes me think like, I don't know. I feel like Mike would have done that prank. Like, not even just the prank. I feel like he would have, like, actually had done it with her if that were not a prank. If I'm being honest with you. Which makes me think, like, you shouldn't be questioning Henna. You should really be questioning Mike. Mike may be the hoe here. But, yeah. The prank unfolds. She might say Henna and begins to take off her blouse. Yeah, they were all laughing. It's just sick. Y'all are worse than Mean Girls, bro. Y'all not her friends. And y'all over here using her, Beth, and Josh just so y'all can enjoy their house and stuff like that because they're rich and whatnot. You're not her friends. You're not any of their friends. It just sucks. And they said they said Henna can't take a joke. Bitch, this isn't a fucking joke. That's worse than a joke. Y'all were recording this shit. If it were just a joke and y'all popped out, then it would be nothing. No, I think one of them was legitimately fucking recording. Just makes me sick. It's just this stupid. Meeting Mike at the cable car. Yes. He was already there. Taking a selfie. That was an ugly ass selfie. It was so ugly. I can't. They head up to the lodge, greet Ashley, Chris, Josh, and Matt, and Sam, who have assembled themselves in the room. Soon after, Emily enters. Emily's upset. Yep. Oh, Emily was upset because her former friend was in a relationship with her ex. I thought it was also because she was jealous as well during Emily's segment of this video. But no, I'll be upset too because what the fuck? You want my leftovers, bitch? Like, nah, just kidding. However, takes her own turn to insult Emily back. They just go back and forth like catty girl. Matt can choose to encourage or diffuse the argument. So he can be either an instigator or try to stop it. Josh tells them that if they can't get along, they should split up. Not him having to, take care of these situations like they're kids and he's the adult. Like, bro, aren't y'all here for Josh? Like, what the fuck? Why are y'all being so fucking catty and selfish like this? Like, bro, what's wrong with y'all? Josh also makes Mike and Jessica go to the guest cabin. Okay, yeah, that's understandable. Man, during the whole time, I was thinking in my head just like, y'all going to the guest cabin to fuck. Y'all really could just do it in the lodge, which sounds awful. Yes, it is. However, the family owns the cabin as well. All of that is their property. So it's like, you know, you're doing it at their cabin. It's no different like from doing it at the lodge. I guess it's because people can hear you, but at the same time, like that's a big ass house. So it's like, you know, there's like 10 people now in it. That's a big ass lodge. You know, you can go to a room that's far away from everybody the fuck else and just do it there. Like, if I'm be honest with you, since y'all obviously y'all not even here for Josh, you know, so I don't even think y'all would give a fuck. Josh would give a fuck, but I don't think they would even give a fuck if they did it in his house. Like they sure didn't give a fuck about doing that prank in his house. So it's just, I don't know. The whole argument can be skipped if Matt saw Mike and Emily flirting and decides to attack Mike. Is that true? I don't remember. I just don't even remember that. Maybe it's because the people I was watching who made the choice. I didn't actually play this game myself. I wish I did. But yeah, the people who played the game that I was watching, they probably didn't choose that. Because I saw Emily and Jessica fighting and whatnot. Regardless, the duo will be kicked out. Yep. After being kicked out, the duo heads to cabin and spend some time alone. Ooh, they discover a fallen tree, all that. Yeah, they go on quite an adventure after trying to get the generator like done and whatnot. Falls into what turns out to be a small section of the mine. Ooh, unable to get up or around it. So they ended up falling into a little bit of the mine. End up squeezing past the mine cart or pushing it forward while on there. Yep. They were in the mines and they got out of them. They went a long way to go to the cabin, basically. Jess plays too fuck. She's the most immature person out of this whole group, if I'm gonna be honest with you. She plays the most. So Jess was the reason why this prank even occurred, and I was blaming Mike for the whole thing when Jess was the one to get it started. But then again, everybody else was okay with it, you know. And then Emily, being a stupid bitch as well, who like is best friends with Jessica, she was just like, it's just a prank hand. Like, bitch, no, you wouldn't like this shit if it was you. The fuck? I'm like, I can't. They're near in the cabin, all that. Yeah, there was a dying deer. You could choose to either Mike could kill it or Jess will be upset if you kill the deer. Either way, the body was snatched by the monster. The monster, it's like it was Henna, I think. It's like it lured them there. Like it chased them. So, you know, oh, this crazy mess. Let me fast forward to when she basically gets snatched, after she gets snatched. While being dragged away, she calls out for Mike, who is in pursuit. If Mike is fast enough, he will find her in an abandoned mine, injured but alive. If Mike is too late, the Wendigo already had enough time to... Oh, so the Wendigo had dragged her away, and that's how she can die in Chapter 4. It can kill her by ripping her jaw apart. I forgot about that. And dropping her body on the elevator shaft, which makes me think, like, they're not hungry at all. They're just vengeful. That's weird. That's hella weird. So that's what happens. Okay. That's how she could die in Chapter 4. Okay. Not physically appear in this chapter. She's mentioned. This does not appear in this chapter. So it's not until Chapter 9 when she reappears. So that's 5 whole chapters of her being missing. Well, actually, no. She's basically shown in Chapter 4. So 4 whole chapters. Oh my gosh, my math is awful. Damn it, I'm gonna have to cut this in half. It's gotten so long because I really would love to go into detail about that, like about what parts I got right and what parts I got wrong. You're looking for a way out of the mines. If Jessica died before Chapter 10, Jessica's lifeless head will roll. After opening the door on the way to Josh. Ooh, shit. Mike will point her out specifically, even if the other friends have died. Her body then can be seen hanging upside down when Mike and Sam venture further. Ooh. That's just sick. Aye. In the tunnels of Wendigo mimicking... Yeah, they can also mimic the voice, and that's where Ashley could die if she, like, goes towards the voice because she thinks it's Jessica, and it's not. It may lead to their demise. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm gonna have to cut this video short, even though it's an hour and 40 minutes. May peace be with you for an eternity.